Hey again, it's me, as always, funkdoc, back from my first day of jury duty, and we're gonna do a 4-player game on Germany. And this is a real expensive map here. Tough board, tough map, as psteinx says. And speaking of, players in the game are me, funkdoc, amitss, teokop, and psteinx. We finally have another multiplayer game with Stein after a little bit of a drought of those. So, looking at this, the 4 and the 3 should be worth a good amount of money here. I think, yeah, Stein's going to pay 9 for the 4. I'm not going to pay 10 for it, and I don't think any of us will. Reasonable call for Stein. Although, if the 3 goes for 4, he could be a little bit tight at that. We'll see. With Stein out of the auction after this, most likely, we'll see if the 3 goes for 5, because I think the 3 if you end up getting the 3 plant here for just $4, I think that's a better deal than the 4 for 9 in this map. What I would do if I had the 3, I think I would just build 1 in Essen here. This has the most connections to all the different really cheap cities here. And if someone else builds near you, you get the first build on turn 2, so that gives a little bit of an advantage to you in that scenario. Someone else most likely will fight you there, but that's fine. 2 people can split the really cheap stuff. That's okay. I'll bid 4 for this, sure. Teokop might end up buying the 8 and doing the no build again. I know he's very fond of that move. And sure enough, I got the 3 for 4, so I think I got a little bit better value than Stein in that auction. He paid good money for the 4 plant. Okay, 24 on. That's a little bit of a blocker at this stage of the game. So 42 and 46 drawn. 46 we know is going to go under the deck. And I'm going to buy my 2 oil and go. This time, teokop gets the 5. Okay, teokop does not get the 8. So we are not going to see the no-build tactic starting with the 8 plant. I'm personally not a fan of that myself. Anyway, a couple things you can do here. I think I would single-build Essen here. Essen, Duisburg, whichever one of these twins. You can just take one of them. They're functionally the same connections. Because they have a free connection with each other, that means they have the same connection cost to all their other bordering cities. Or you can build one of the twins in blue here. That's the build I think I would make with the 4. I feel like the play here is to either... You should either build 1 or build 3. You can do like Duisburg, Essen, and on this particular map, I think Dusseldorf would be the best 3rd city, because that gets you the connection to the blue ones here. Stein goes Fulda, okay. Fulda's a very reasonable spot too. Fulda plus the twins, yeah, those are fine. amitss is going to build near me, for sure. That's the obvious play. Obvious, very obvious. Whoa there. Wow, I was not ready for that build from amitss. Holy shit, I just bodied turn 1 with that luck. I can't believe nobody built near me. Holy shit. That does paint a very obvious target on my back, though. I'll have to be on the lookout for that. Now is where I think I build a 3. I build Dortmund, Dusseldorf on this next turn, I think is what I want to do. amitss obviously passes with the 8, which is the correct play. Weird that teokop did not buy extra coal with the 5. 29 was drawn. I got to think. I got to think here. It's going to be so bad for me. I'll actually click this just once. Just once. And teokop is a little bit more of a reason to bid than I do. Because teokop's not going to get the great sexy drop. Like, teokop will either click on this or buy the 13 that's almost certainly coming next. Because teokop is toward high up in the turn order. So teokop has a little more reason to bid for the 10. Because teokop's in a worse spot for turn order. And teokop tends to value the 10 a little more than I do in general. There it is. Now I'll pass for sure. Get an extra $2 out of him for that. I think this is worth bidding, though. I like the 13 and 3 combo. I'll give Stein a chance here, but 24 is a bad omen. There's some big plants that can drop ahead of it, but not too many. Ooh, even worse than that. Okay, so that tells me that I'm in a really good spot now, because everybody else uses coal except me. I'm in a sweet spot here with my oil. And Stein buys the 6. Okay, so I feel really good about my situation now. I got to see what here. So I have to buy... I can only store 3 oil, but that's okay. Oil's not massively in demand right now. Yeah, I think I do this. Sure. And I will build Dortmund and Dusseldorf, and I'll actually bid for the 15 on the next turn. There is a lot of coal in the game, but this is going to be a slow early market with 23 and 24 out there. Stein being forced to buy the 6 in turn 2 is very good news for the rest of us. Like, Stein really had to buy something to move the market, just to move the market more than anything. And 6 will make a profit in 2 turns. Over the course of 1 turn, like, it costs you $1 overall because you're paying 6 for the plant and 6 for the trash to make. So you're paying 12 total to make $11 in 1 turn. So yeah. So I want to really establish my position in the cheapest part here. So I have connections going every which way through this whole part of the map, which is sweet. Okay, really liking my start to this game. Really liking it a lot. $42 out, 50 in, so that's going to go under the deck. And these players, like, teokop should pass here. Forgot to cross off 15. Please don't buy a plant, teokop. You do not need to buy a plant. There you go. Everybody else passes on plants, which is the correct play here. Don't drop anything for Stein. Do not drop 29 for Stein, for the love of God. Stein does not buy a plant. I am okay with this. Like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of coal bought right now, but I don't need to run coal this turn. Teokop should be buying oil, though, because Teokop should build to 3. I do agree with that part. There it is. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. I'll just do this, because I'd rather just power 2 cities this turn and save a little on coal. Teokop running out of places to build. I will build Colne if I get the chance, I think. Ooh, Teokop jumps past Stein. Wow. I think Munster is my next bet here. The plants here are so bad that... Yeah. I mean, I'm obviously passing this stuff. Teokop's going to buy 23, though, I expect. Yeah, that's... Uranium's down to an okay price now, so I kind of expected that play. Well, that's about the best possible thing that could have come from me. And make Stein buy something, 11 or 24. Actually, 7. 7's reasonable for Stein at this point. Oil's okay. Oil is in an okay place. There it is. Oh, baby. Let me just store 2 coal. I mean, let me store the max coal, please. Just so others don't get any funny ideas here. Ooh, 27 coming in. And it's actually on the market now. That is a pretty good plant for me. Stein builds here. I'm still top. I'll build Colne, sure. I'm just making so much more money than the other players right now. Even on my previous turn, I did well. Funny thing is, Stein is still sitting at the bottom of the turn order, 4, 6, 7 as his 3 plants. That's really unusual to see. Ooh, 27. I'll definitely buy this. 24 out, 38 in. That's probably going to be my last bid on this. I feel like 27 is usually not worth much more than 30. Because we do have a number of bad plants that could still come, though. That's the problem here. We've had a lot of high-numbered plants. I think I can pass on this now. Like, I don't desperately need this plant the way that someone like some of these other players do. Just want it to be driven up to a good price, and we've gotten there now. $29 makes it on the market. Okay, I will fight the hell. I will fight to hell and back for this. I already have my 5 cities. I even have coal stored. Okay, this plant has my name written all over it. And this is a really ideal plant for Germany. I feel like it's worth around 40-ish here, personally. I'll do it. Yes! And amitss obviously has to buy 18. Yeah, obvious call here. 18's still very good. Good for turn order. Stein even bids on it. Amitss is going to take 32 now. I think that's going to be his play. Yeah, 32 is his play. So, I don't know how I feel about that, actually. I personally like my situation. Now I can just stick to using... Like, I can carry this set of plants all the way to step 3. $33 actually made it onto the market, too. Wow. So we've seen all the 7 capacity plants. That's really good news for the strategy I'm going for here. I'm willing to pay big for a 4 capacity plant, so hopefully I can keep it the entire game and just go for a 4, 6, 7 finish and the game at 17. That is my plan here. Now, amitss is in, like, not a bad spot with the 32. He hasn't made the most money, though, having to stick with the 8 for so long with expensive coal. So he probably doesn't have the most money here, and his builds are not the cheapest either. I would suspect he could build to 5, but not 6. And I think definitely that oil would be the resource for me here, for sure. Amitss is now my closest competitor at this point, I feel. There's Stein's jump into yellow, which is a pretty obvious play, with the twins still open there. Can amitss not even... Oh, amitss can't even build a 5th city. Wow, he's farther behind than I thought. I'll just keep running my 29 and 13 here, thank you very much. Not regretting paying for those plants right now. And I also don't regret buying 2 oil, since I'm stuck at the top of the turn order. Well, I pass on this stuff now, with 12 coming into the game. That takes the really good plants off. Stein might buy 20. Yeah, I was going to say, Stein could buy 24. That's a reasonable plant for him at this stage. He can get to a 6th city with Dresden to run 24 and 18 together. That's an option. But 30 comes on immediately after. Wah, wah. Teokop might buy 30. Oh no, amitss puts... Wow, amitss is getting 2... Wow, I. And 28 is not so sexy with 23 running at the moment. Okay, again, I really like how this game is working out for me. I mean, really happy. Like, yeah, 32 and 30 went really cheap. But, I mean, the problem is amitss just doesn't have money. And people are getting out of coal right now, for sure, so... I don't need to even buy other resources here. I don't think oil is so important to attack now. Ooh, teokop jumps over here. Claims some of the south there. This is working out ridiculously well for me. And I'll get good spot in the turn order now because, I mean, not good, but not top, which is what I care about. I'll just stall. I mean, I feel like I am going to win a stall at this point because of the money advantage I get. kind of regretting the coal I stored on 15 earlier because coal got so much cheaper now. But yeah, I mean, it's still I mean, I think that was still the right play because I didn't know I was going to end up with 29. There was a very good chance that 29 did not come onto the market the turn that I got it. Holy shit. I will stock all the cheap coal for sure. Yeah. $15 is going to do more work for me than I expected. But yeah. I think amitss might need to break the stall here, which is weird because usually the capacity leader is the one who doesn't want to break the stall, but amitss needs to improve the restock rates on oil and trash, which you do when you get to step 2. I mean, amitss is definitely going to build to 6, at the very least. Yep. There it is. $36 out, and then 40 is guaranteed to go under the deck because that's the highest plant left in the game at this point. A lot of duds still, Though we haven't seen 21, 20, 21, 25, or 26 at all. Those are usually like a lot of the really key early game plants that the game revolves around. In a game where none of those exist, I'm very happy with 29. There's 20, speak of the devil. All right, this is actually going to be a hot commodity. And if I end up with a 20, I'll definitely, I will replace 15 with 20 if I get it on the next turn. If it even stays in the market next turn, which I don't know if it will, but whatever. All right. Okay. Out. 26. Ooh. This is a rare spot where 20, I think, will go for a higher price than 26. That almost never happens, but it's going to happen here. So few of the big coal plants around, and we've already had 32 running for a long time, so oil is not cheap either. I will have to start running exclusively oil on the 29, though, if I get the 20. We're just bump this up past the entry-level stages. Oh, it's past 40 now. I have to think about this, but I might still want it. Because of my coal stored in 15. Yeah, I'll bid on this. It fits me really well. Believe it or not, in this spot, it's actually more likely than not that 26 won't drop. Although we do have 25 and 21 still lurking. I mean, 21 I don't really want at this stage, though. I'll bid. I'll keep bidding this. I'll pay 50. I'll pay 50 for this plant. I'll pay. I will pay the monies for this. 26 came. Okay. Well, at least it comes when there's going to be a big fight for it. Amitss needs to bow out of the auction. Like, 25 is not... 26 is not going to do much for Amitss in this situation. I'm just glad I got a 20 because I feel like as much as this game is stalled, capacity is going to be more important, and I really want to have a 5 plant going into step 3. I mean, a 5 capacity plant. Plant that powers 5. So I'm very glad to get the 20, looking at the price that 26 ended up at, plus the dud that came after 26. Yes. And make no mistake, 22 is a dud at this stage of the game. So I feel like it's definitely come down to me and Amitss at this point. And I'm very much ahead on money. Amitss just has the base capacity. Amitss is the capacity monster, obviously. But it's good that we had plants bought this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we do, unfortunately, still have a few plants left to go before step 3. All right. I'll store max coal on the 20 now, and just run my oil on the 29. So 20 went for over 60, and 26 only went in the mid-40s. That's what the presence of other plants in the game does for a plant's value. Amitss is the key player I want to stay below in the turn order, for sure. And Amitss breaks the stall, finally. He wants to get a decent number of cities that he can... Oh, wow, he builds to 11, yeah. Because he wants to make sure that he gets value out of the 32 and the 30 both. Alright, well, there's 31, so wow, that's... all the big plants to come here. And Amitss got a lot of Step 1 cities. This could open up the market here with 31. Not really, because 28's still there. And there's 39, the other highest plant left. So there's only one more plant left to be drawn, and then the Step 3 auction. Really? Really now? That's going to put 31 in the market. And I'll put 31 up for bid, for sure. Because let's look. Step 3 card came... I must have... Oh, I missed 14. That's the plan I missed. Okay. 46, 42, 50. So 33 is going to come next on the market. Stein is the player who most needs this plant. I expect him to get it. He is going to pay any amount of money for this. The way this game is stalled, again, we do need a big capacity going into Step 3. Interesting that amitss opted to buy 28. Is he going to end the game this turn? Stein bows out of the auction. Interesting call here. This is an interesting call for me. Well, I built up a ton of money during the stall, but I spent all that money on big-ass plants. And Stein gets cheap 34 out of it, which is good for him. What needs to happen is this. The thing is, I control coal so much that I can keep the price of it really cheap. That's my advantage right now. So Stein is going to build a bunch here. This is the play I fully expect from the Steiner. I'll buy an extra 3 coal. Just so I have it on the 20. Because 20 is going to be a keeper for me. I paid a lot of money for my plants. Holy crap. I feel like this could end up costing me the game at this stage. Yeah, teokop just pointed out, I paid like close to 130 bucks for the 20 and the 31. There's so little other coal out there, though. Though we do have, I mean, 46 is out there, 42 and 36. Yeah, we know Stein's definitely building. Because that's where he needs to push his turn order advantage and build as much as possible to make builds more expensive for the rest of us. That's where his biggest advantage is going to lie right now. That and not paying much money for plants. Stein being able to get, like, I did not expect teokop to buy 33. Like, that was my error, I think. Like, 31 was a mistake for me in retrospect. Because I did not realize that if I got 31, teokop would buy 33, thus being guaranteed to drop Stein the 34. This is going to suck for me, actually. I'm not going to win the game now. I think I'm not going to win this game. Because I'd have been much better off passing 31 and then just buying a plant on the next turn. Stein's actually going to come back and win this, I think. That 34, that cheap 34 was huge for Stein. Huge. I was the richest player, now I'm the poorest. That's my problem here. 38 out there. I feel like this game should have been mine, and I did something or other to throw it away. I feel like paying for one of 20 and 31 was good, but not both. I really just thought amitss would... I thought teokop would go higher, and then I did not think teokop would buy 33 if that were to come next. Like, a 4 plant is not going to be an endgame plant for you when you already have a 5. You're going to have to replace that 4. Interesting play. There goes one of the 7 plants cheap, although it's for a really expensive resource at least. God damn it, I should have given teokop 31. I guess, like, the stall kind of messed up my endgame calculation where I haven't had a game stall this hard in a while, so I forget, like, how long it's going to take for the game to end. I thought maybe step 3 would only last 1 turn because of how much the game stalled. Like, how much money I'd built up earlier with my 29 and 13 combo there. I was loaded, and I thought other players would be at least fairly loaded. Think. Think. These plants are going so cheap now, I'm really regretting my 31. That was stupid. Why the fuck did I go so hard for 31? I thought teokop would be more desperate for it. Oh, man. Can I even bid on this? I can't. Yeah, I fucked this one up bad. I guess if I was going to pay for 20, don't pay for 31 as well. I love this idea of controlling coal myself, but that's not going to last. Okay. I get suckered into this capacity game that I don't need to play. I have trouble reading the end game sometimes. Like, a lot of the time. I feel like it's my biggest problem in this game, is reading the end game. Got to make sure to get that step 3 spot there. My cheapest city. So get all the cheap stuff. I'll go here. Yeah. I'm going to end up finishing last in this game. God, I threw this game away with paying for the plants. Like, I guess the thing is, here's my problem. I had to pay for one of 20 or 31. I had to pay for one of those plants, I think. Because I feel like this is going to be a game that's where it's going to take 18 to win. I couldn't play for 17, as it turned out, so 29 was not going to be a final plant for me. I think 29 absolutely worked out fantastically for me. I made so much money off of 29. But I don't know. Interesting thing here is Stein could end the game this turn. I mean, I built to 14, but the fact that I didn't build to 15 tells Stein that I don't have much money. Oh, teokop builds to 15, okay. Although teokop can't power. Teokop did not get... Okay, Stein doesn't end the game, though. Alright. Alright. Those 7 plants going for so cheap is just painful to me, though. Alright. I threw this damn game away. I'm low enough in the turn order that I can safely buy... I can safely fire my coal on the 20, for sure. Yep, teokop's going to go for 18, clearly. Let me think. Amitss is the one player, so... Amitss could block me in the twins here. Let me think about this. Where are my cheapest cities left? Because I have random stuff. Actually, Amitss, since nobody else built there, with Amitss, I can get Stuttgart. I can actually do this. And then... I still have coal to buy. Yeah, I'm not going to hit 18, unfortunately. I have resigned myself to the fate of 17. Thus, I will bid for the 39. Amitss, on the other hand, is bidding for this. Can Amitss actually get to 18? I'll bid for this. Actually, hold on. Let me think. I have to think about this. That leaves me with 52. Both ways leave me with 52. Let me do this. Hold on. Yeah, I can't. And we know 36 comes next. $36 to replace 20 is actually a reasonable option for me. If I get that at cost, that would be better than... than 39 for me and getting to 17. Stein's winning this one. Stein has to win this one, though, for sure. Bid 50, teokop. Bid 50. You're at the top of the turn order. You still need oil on your 26. I mean, yeah. I think 50 will be better than 40 for you. Certainly better than 42. Because I got a lot of coal here still. Man, I'm going to end up paying like 65 or whatever for the 20 plant, and then teokop passes. Okay. Well, I'm not getting last this game, at least. Whatever plant Stein buys. I think I have to pass because then I'm guaranteed to get the 36 it cost. I can replace the 20 that way. I think that's my cheapest route to 17. They're still not going to win. Stein's winning this. Stein has to win this game, yes. Yeah. We'll see if amitss getting 32 and 30 so cheap earlier in the game will help him to beat Stein. I don't think it will, but we'll see. Problem is, amitss is pretty well blocked here. Alright, well, that's that. We definitely build this, obviously. Alright, let me think about this. I got blocked in all these sets of twins here, huh? Yep. This game sure sucked for me. Third place for me. All right. Stein gets to 18 as expected. I still think Stein wins. Yep, as expected. Stein wins by a good amount too, by some 30, like what, $25, a little more. that Stein wins by. So good margin of victory. Good margin of victory there. Paid a lot of money to end up at 467, huh? Yeah, that game was lesson learned. I think I'll do one more. I think I'll do one more here. I think I'll just cut this here and maybe go to a separate video, though. Or not. Do I stay here? All right, this time it's going to be a game that I'm not going to play. I'm going to sit back and just commentate this one. So it's psteinx, again, the winner of the previous game, as he often is. Amitss, Teokop, and Selasphorus. So replacing me with Selas. All right, so we got Italy here, and this is Italy with the cheaper parts of the map plus one more expensive part. Red is still fairly cheap, though easily definitely more expensive than the three northern regions. Blue is blocked out, so we have two of the three uber cheap regions of Italy here, and then the moderately cheap red, and then the quite expensive purple, and the also quite expensive brown is not in the game. Anyway, so the 4 plant went to teokop. 4 is not nearly as popular in Italy. Should not be priced nearly as high because of coal starting out so much more expensive. And trash being cheaper makes the 6 a nice prize. As you can see, Stein bidding 8 for it. I suspect he'll get it for that price. Yeah, that's pretty fair. All right. And there's Mastaba saying that he was happy to see his most recent win on my channel here. And it was his very first game that I've recorded, so... Anyway, the 3. 3 typically goes just for list price. It's still well worth buying because you get to build first. That's really the value of it, but oil being even more expensive than in other maps means you're not going to want to pay more than list price for the 3 on Italy, generally. And Selas goes with the 8 as the last plant, which is a very reasonable choice when there's only one other coal plant in the game. So, the player with the 4 should buy all the $3 coal. Teokop does not buy extra, though, so Selasphorus will get to power 2 cities for $11, which is the same price you normally get for coal with the 8 on other maps. It's just, with Italy, coal starts out more expensive, but we have one less coal plant in the opening. So, therefore, the net result is about the same for the 8 plant being the last one to buy coal. Selasphorus made out pretty well, I think. Although, building last could be a little bit rough here because you don't want to have to go into purple too early. But you might need to, depending on how building goes elsewhere. And again, especially on a map where builds are this cheap, I would definitely stick to building just one city with plants like the 3 and the 4. If the 3 and the 4 build 1, then I'd say the 6 plant might as well build 2, because the 8's, the 8's going to build 2. 8 has to power 2 cities to actually make good money. So 3 and the 4 should build 1 city to secure their low spot in the turn order for next turn. And the player with the 6 in that case then should build 2, since that's not going to change their spot in the turn order versus building 1. And Stein definitely knows this. And yes, we see some solid builds here. Ancona, I feel, is a little too conservative for building that early. I would rather go somewhere in, actually, Padua. Padua over here in Aqua, this is where I would build first, probably. Either first or second. I would go here for sure. This is a very safe single build. So, yeah. This is work. So, teokop, Selasphorus made out really well, getting yellow with the 8. That I did not expect. I should update the plants to the tracker. 39 went under the deck. So we can get that out of there. 39, and then 25, 33, 36 are the other plants drawn thus far. 25, that is big news. Stein buys the 5 the hybrid property of the 5 is pretty useful on Italy, with coal and oil being more similar in price. Teokop gets the 10. And amitss 24. Interesting choice. I guess because amitss will get San Marino and Rimini and could build to 3 cities on this turn. And there's teokop with a big coal buy. I expect he'll only build 1 city there. And unfortunately, I expect with amitss building these twins, that's going to force teokop south, which is not where you want to be early in the game. Oh, amitss can't afford both. Okay. I don't know about 24 then, if you can't afford 3 cities this early. And yeah, teokop, of course, obviously builds San Marino. You have to. That's a key part of your route northward for later in the game. What Stein says is true. Plant 8 does not have a long shelf life on Italy, but I think it doesn't need to. I really feel like 13 would have been a better pick than 24, if you can only get to 2 cities. Although, there is more time for that to pay off, since 25 is blocked from the market this turn. Wait, teokop buys 13. It makes sense for him, 10 and 13 together. Oh, God. And Selasphorus kind of has... No, I think Selas will pass. I think Selas will pass and just deal with the pain of running the 8 for a 3rd turn, rather than risk dropping Stein the 25 here. And make Stein eat the 12. Although I don't know if he will. Stein might not buy a plant here. And just try to ride the turn order again for another turn. Hope Selasphorus gets more desperate in the next turn and risks dropping him that plant. amitss could build the twins in Aqua if Stein doesn't go there. Yeah. I do think Selas passing was easily the correct decision there. Because 8's a plant you can... If you have to, you could live with running 8 a 3rd turn, even on Italy. I'm just saying there about teokop thinking that it was not good to pass on plants with the 8. But I do think here, yes, Stein is kind of forced to buy the 12 here. But 14 drops now. The game just ain't gonna stop trolling here. So Selasphorus will get to buy a plant last on the next turn and could buy potentially, I think, 23. Uranium's gonna go down to 8, costing 8 each on the next turn. So at that point, Selas could buy 23, aka the Plant of Champions, as we know it on BSW. Well, one way or another, Selasphorus is not going to have to run the 8 on the next turn. Assuming 23 stays on Selas, I think he'll be fine buying that. He's obviously not going to build this turn so that he can stay at the bottom of the turn order for next turn. And teokop establishes his position south, which is reasonable at this point. Amitss, I think, needs to eye a jump into yellow at some point. Or go Firenze. Firenze would make sense for Amitss here, to get the connection into West Coast. Yep, there's Firenze. That's the build I expected for Amitss once I looked at the board a little more. It makes sense. That's going to be his best source of future connections. And Stein made a good point there. Selasphorus actually could have built to 3 and stayed at bottom of the turn order. That is a good point there. I just figured, oh, Selas isn't going to build, but actually he could have built. Like, Selas actually could have built Firenze himself to really solidify his position in yellow. That would have induced Amitss to jump into Reggio, probably. And yet everyone passes. Selas buys 23 as expected. Now 25 is in the market for now. Yeah. 38's going to go under the deck this turn. Selasphorus still bought coal on the 8. Even though he's not going to build beyond 3 this turn. He's only going to run 23. I think that's to plan for 25 should it stay on the market. And there's Amitss expanding into the West Coast there. Good play. Stein's getting a lot of territory. Stein's basically locking up all of Aqua as well as Ferrara here. That's a big deal. 38 out, 44 in. So 25 indeed stays on. So Selasphorus is angling to win this plant, I feel, because he has he's had cheap builds. Even buying 23 last turn, I feel like he can afford this. So that probably drove his decision to buy extra coal in the 8. I guess also if he doesn't get 25 or 31, then he could still just, run the 8 one last time, build to 5. 30, wow. And you would think the 30 on Italy with the cheap trash would sound amazing, but look at how much trash has been burned already throughout this game. Like, nobody's going to want 30 right now. Selas buys it, though. I mean, I guess it makes sense because it's an endgame plant, and Selas doesn't need it this turn. Oh my, Stein gets 26 drop out of nowhere. Well, I think this game is over now. An 18 afterward, too. Rub a little salt in the wound. And that's game over, I think. Stein still has coal and trash stored too, which makes it tricky for him. He should be able to build and use some of that, though. I do think that 30 was not the greatest buy here. I don't know. In any case, I feel like Stein's already won this game now. Stein has great builds. He has this stuff. Okay, so Stein builds to 6, so this means that he can burn his extra trash he had stored. He can run 26 and 6 together. He can run just these 2 plants. So that means that once he gets rid of the trash, he can safely replace the 6 with another plant later. Selas staying at 3. Interesting. I don't know what he's got that coal stored for. I mean, it would make sense. Problem is he can't really buy a plant next turn. And Selas's builds are getting blocked pretty hard too, actually. I hadn't noticed that earlier, but I'm seeing it now. Why the build to 6 from amitss? That I don't get. Because amitss would have stayed below teokop if he had stopped at 5 cities, which is the most he could power right now. I think he just wants to fence in Selasphorus a little more, force him into an awkward decision with the coal stored on the 8. In any case, that was quite an eventful turn there. And 19. Oh boy. amitss might bid for the 18 here, actually. With 19 blocking the market, yeah, amitss is good. amitss is going to bid for 18. He kind of needs that plant. Having been stuck running expensive trash. Yeah. Stein obviously not going to buy a plant now. There's 20, though. And coal is getting quite cheap again. Coal's getting quite cheap again. And of course, nobody else buys a plant as expected. I think somebody's going to build a 7 this turn, which would actually clear 2 plants off the market. Building to 7 would get rid of the 7 plants since, you know, it's matching the number of cities. Someone gets a number of cities equal to the plant. That plant is removed from the game. Building to 7 will remove plant 7, but it will then also trigger step 2, removing the next lowest number plant after the 7. And I feel like amitss kind of needs to do that now. He doesn't have the greatest spots left to build, would be the issue. He doesn't have an easy 7th city here. And it looks like he's not even going to try because he is content to just run 24 and 18 together. Stein? Okay. Selasphorus buying trash on the 30 now. It's interesting. And yeah, Selas realizes, okay, oh wow. Selas forgot that he was only in step 1, not step 2. Yeah. And I think Stein, yeah, is going to build to 8. Because that would let him run all of his plants at once. 7 remove, 28 comes in. And then 9 remove, 32 is in. Well, that would be a nice nerf to 26 were it to come into the market, but it's a ways away from that now. Yep, 37 out, 34 drawn. Okay. Well, this means 20 stays in the market, so that should be big. Coal is down to $1 now. Wow. There's obviously going to be a big fight for this, though. Amitss needs one of these plants this turn. 28 is not as great as it normally would be at this point because of 23 being in used so often. There's a bit. 31 comes on right afterward. Okay. Now we're getting the big guns. Well, coal ain't gonna stay cheap for long. Teokop ending up with both 25 and 20 is not good news, with 31 coming in. Like, if 31 didn't come in, having both 20 and 25 could actually be game-winning, but somebody else gets 31. And amitss, that's the plant amitss needs. And this is the problem. Okay, so Selasphorus' problem buying the 30 earlier in the game is it was just a bunch of money wasted on something that you weren't going to use. amitss, I think, will not run 24 this turn. I expect them to just store a bunch of coal and run 31 and 18. That's what I expect amitss to do here. And Stein got 32 at cost as well. Because, again, Selasphorus was not in a position to really bid on plants. It was weird because he kind of, has, resources stored on stuff. Big coal buy, teokop with a small coal buy. Teokop's going to stay at 6 cities, which makes a lot of sense. You don't want to run 20 and 25 together if you can avoid it at all. But yeah, Selas needed to build south for sure. And also Ferrara is very important because that's, like, Selas has the main gateways to Aqua, which is very good. That's a very cheap corner region that Selas could easily grab on the next turn, potentially. Stein getting 26 and 32 at cost, though. He's just winning this game. Let's be real here. Stein wins this game. I mean, his builds have gotten blocked pretty decently, but he can jump into... I mean, having Ferraro is big for him because he can at least jump into West Coast. So yeah, Stein already powers 11 cities. He has the highest base capacity of anyone. He got his plants cheap. Like, this game's already over. And there's, like, nobody else that's really going to get oil plants to buy him out on that. You can't buy him out on oil, which would be the only way you could win at the moment. So, good win to Stein. $14 out, $50 in. So we know that's going under the deck now. Celas got it's gotten surprisingly long-term use out of the 8. On Italy, that's pretty rare. It's just that now, this late, that all the big coal plants suddenly came in at once. But yeah. Like, nobody else has oil is the problem. That on top of everything else, why Stein is going to win this game free is just nobody else has oil. At all. So nobody else can attack him. And there's Teokop now building to get full use out of the 20 and 25 and the 20 together. And Celas building south. I don't know how I feel about that. I'd rather go for Aqua if I were Celas. Because, I mean, purple, this is set 2 spots, so it's really expensive for this particular map, too. This map config. This is the expensive part of Italy here. I'd rather fight the cheap stuff up north. Interesting. This is interesting now. If amitss somehow had the money to end enough money to end the game, he would actually win this turn because Stein didn't buy a trash and he can only power 11 cities. If amitss could have ended the game, he would win powering 12. Problem is, Stein matches him on capacity. This is going to be tough now. Because we could have an endgame on the next turn. Oh, 22 came in. I don't think they'll buy plants now. Someone might have bought 28 to threaten an endgame win. Now, here's the problem. Here's the situation. Nah. Buying 27, I don't think would win it for Stein, because that would drop... Oh, I see what Teokop's going for. He might win this game. Teokop buying 27. That signals to me that he might be able to end the game now. Let's see what plants came. Oh, God, 15. And 46 came. So that's the last of our plants. Question is, will this game even make it to step 3? Actually, Teokop might not get enough cities to end the game. I don't know why he bought 27. That's kind of questionable to me this late in the game. I don't know if Stein... Or does he plan to block builds? I mean, amitss should realize he might be able... Well, no. Selasphorus could build to 13. Although he got blocked out of Aqua, too. He does have the purple. If I were amitss, I don't know if I would have bought extra trash. Because then I could end the game. Maybe. amitss just needs 3 more cities, right? I mean, he could get Perugia, Roma, Napoli, whatever, yeah. He could get that stuff. And actually, amitss has these cities in Aqua, too. Stein not buying a trash again. I mean, we'll have to see what happens, but that could potentially cost him the game. Although, we'll see if amitss... I mean, amitss may not... Well, if amitss powered 12 cities last turn, that's 118 in reserve. Buying extra resources, yeah. Okay, so amitss has the win. Stein has to try and build to block, but the problem is amitss already gets these 2 cities, Bolzano and Trieste guaranteed. And also Parma is still open, although Stein could jump that one. Stein's going to have to try to block builds as much as possible. amitss should not have said GG there, I think. Because Stein just made it stupidly expensive for him to get a 17th city. Yeah, I think saying GG that early was a mistake on amitss' part. Because you have to figure Stein would recognize the situation and do his best to block builds. amitss gets 2 cities at a good price. Problem is a 3rd. He would have to jump all the way down here. So this is what, a 6 plus 9, so 15, 25, 33 connection. $33 connection. Although he does get this city too, which is cheaper than this. So that helps a little bit. Or maybe he just wanted Stein to overbuild. Nah, because, I mean, here's the thing. Right? Stein has the base capacity advantage. Stein has base capacity, Stein has money, Stein has everything. Everything except now turn order. So, I mean, amitss did get Stein to give up 1 advantage there. We know Trieste is an obvious build for amitss for sure. Question is, do you have enough money to end the game going down here? Probably should not have... Yep. Spoke too soon. That's what I was saying. Don't say GG too early. Because I knew with 1 player left to build, I figured that builds were going to get blocked. Stein's going to win the game in the next turn now. Stein has the highest base capacity of anybody. He only needs, 1 more city to end the game. He has the oil advantage there. Stein is obviously putting 46 up for bid, because of course. $37 was the plant drawn, which is a total stinker. This step 3 market is pretty strong, though. Because resources except trash are all at a decent price here. 38 is in the game, so that would be interesting. But I mean, you had to be able to build to 17 and end the game on the last turn in amitss' situation. Now Stein's just going to win, no matter what. Fossil fuels are super cheap right now, so that makes all these 42 type plants safe compared to what they normally would be. You know, your 42, even 36, you can safely buy those here. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if this hits past 70, although it's stretching close to the limit here. I do think amitss might end up with this plant, though, because amitss can clearly build to 17. And amitss needs the 7 plant. Stein does not need the 7. Trouble is, There's a chance Stein gets stuck having to buy a 5. Like, if we get another bad drop here after 46, Stein could actually lose the game. If Stein does not get 46, and then 44 drops next, that would be game over for Stein. Stein would lose that way. But that's the only way, though. 44 is literally the only plant left in the deck at this point that's less than 6 capacity. And 6 is what Stein needs to hit that magic number of 17. And yep, amitss wins the plan as expected. Stein will get a 6, though, and just win now. All oil, too. If Stein gets the 40, like, Stein's going to win with all oil. That's pretty funny. Again, not something you usually see in this game. There's 40 and there's 50 for Selasphorus. And there's 44. Well, $46 will at least drive up the cost of oil decently for Stein here, but this is still his game. I mean, amitss was forced to pay for that plant. Had to pay, what, $82 for that 46 plant? He's not winning the game that way. This is still Stein's game for sure. Even after having to buy all that oil, this is still Stein's game. He got all of his plants at cost, I think. Again, this is where Selasphorus' 30 buy earlier was a mistake. Where amitss build. Okay. amitss gets to 17, and so will Stein. And yes, Stein wins by a shitload of money, to nobody's surprise. When you get all oil plants at cost and almost nobody else uses oil the entire game, that tends to happen. Good game, Stein. Good game. So that's 2 wins for Stein. That just goes to show you why he's one of the best in the world at this game. And with that, good night.